I got a question for you. Are you shored up, secured, and ready for set to sail? I know some of you say, wait, what? Let me repeat my question. Are you shored up, secured, and ready for setting to sail? Hey, listen, this is Dr. Mac, the Truth and Transparency Coach. Yes, I'm dropping another nugget. This one's a little different, thought-provoking when it comes to our assignments, when it comes to tasks, when it comes to projects, but most importantly, when it comes to your life. Are you ready? Have you shored up, become secured, and set for the sail? My question remains. And you say, well, what are you talking about? I'm glad you asked that wonderful question. When I think about being shored up, I think about being positioned, right? It's being positioned for readiness, being positioned to be strengthened, fortified or refortified, whatever tickles your fancy, whichever boat you float in, right? And being reinforced, your support being reinforced so that you are made ready for being set to sail. I think about a ship, right? You know, some people have taken a cruise. I have not yet done that for many reasons. But anyway, when I think about when you go and you go all aboard a ship and you're ready to go, this ship is shored up. And so when you think about the ship being shored up, that means it's anchored. It is shored up. It's on the shore, right? And it has an anchor that's keeping it in its position where it is strengthened, it is fortified, it is being made ready, it is being fueled. All of these things that are happening, preparing to set to sail. That also includes bringing aboard the passengers and whatnot. But in the midst of all of that, there's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes regarding this ship in order to make ready to sail. Right. And so when I think about us as individuals, us as a people, I think about the ship and I think about the assignment, which is setting to sail. But in order for you to be set to sail, you have to be shored up and you have to be in the position that is being secure, being anchored in your position. And so when I think about that, that means sometimes we need to be refortified. We need to be fortified so that we can be strengthened because the set to sail could weaken us if we're not prepared, right? So when we've been docked, that's at the shore place, right? For a season, it is for refortification. It is for rebuilding. It is for strengthening. It is for being refueled. It is for a lot of these things or, things of that nature, but it is preparing us and making us ready so that when it is time to set to sail, we are set to sail refueled, fully refueled. We have a direction in which we're going. We've already studied the map, right? We have said yes to the assignment and we've made ourselves ready. I recall Noah, right? When the Lord gave Noah very specific instructions about building the ark, right? He didn't just say, hey, go build an ark. He gave him very specific instructions down to the type of wood, the measurements, and even the measurements for the windows, the doors, and so on and so forth. In addition to that, he gave him very specific instructions when it came to who should he bring aboard, right? And I think about that. We think about Abraham, when the Lord told Abraham to go, and he said, just take your family, your wife and your sons. But what Abraham did, he brought his nephew with him. And so when he brought his nephew had to bring his wife, right? And so on and so forth. And so what we do is sometimes we'll bring Pookie in them. And the Lord said, no, you need to leave them behind because where I'm taking you, they cannot go. And there's very specific instructions as to the why. And so when we think about Noah did not question God when it came to the instructions, down to the wood, down to who he needed to bring aboard. And even when it came down to the fish of the sea, the fowl of the air, and all of those things, he told him very specifically to bring a certain amount of each kind, right? Had he deviated from the instructions, can we just say maybe if he went over the capacity of the ark, it would have sunk? Something to think about, right? So anyway, when we're thinking about being shored up, being made ready and secure, these are the things that we have to pay attention to. It's following the instructions in its entirety to the T. Cross the T, dot the I. Follow all of those instructions, because you don't know what could happen behind the scenes if you deviate, or you say, well, you know what, I'm going to customize this, I'm going to customize that, I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to do that. It could mess some things up. It could mess up our readiness. So that when it's time for us to set to shore, we're not fully ready, we're not prepared, we're not secured, and so on and so forth. Some things can happen behind the scenes. So in order for this to happen, one must be ready to leave their current place, right? They have to gather their things, gather the right instructions, study the mapping, or we say zoning, spiritual zoning, as well as natural zoning. And we have to pack lightly. Noah packed lightly. Okay. He only took what was necessary. Abraham, he only took what was necessary, though he did bring an extra body. We know what happened in the end story, because when it was time to flee, right? They were, the messengers told them very specifically, go, don't look back. And what did Lot's wife do? She turned around, she looked back, and she turned to a pillar of salt. Anyway, my point is this. When we are being shored up and made ready and secured in order to set to sail, there's specific instructions that we must follow. Some of you may be in that season right now where you are in a position of what we call shored up. The only time you're being seen is if somebody walked by the docking station. Be okay with having a season of being shored up, because you're being made ready. You're being refortified. You're being refueled. You're being strengthened. You're being all of these things that are necessary in preparation for you to move forward, right? So we have to position ourselves, right, in order to set to sail. It requires preparation. It requires an appointment, and it requires us gathering the right things and or the right team to make ready for the lifting of the anchor in order for us to catch the wind. You'll catch that in a minute. That means to move forward. This also involves settling within the destination or the assignment that has been designed just for us, right? That's not deviating. That's not looking in somebody else's boat and say, oh, I want this or I want that. It's settling in the position of the boat and the destination that the Lord has provided just for you. It means also to check the conditions of the trail, making sure that there are no potholes. And if they are, you are sensitive in the spirit and have discernment to avoid those potholes, to avoid the unnecessary tiding, and make sure it means you're anchoring yourself in the position where you're being ready for the coming storms and the coming winds, right? What does that mean? It means to allow Christ to fully dwell in your heart, where you are being rooted or anchored in your yes to the assignment or assignments or people. That's a whole nother nugget. And to set and be made ready to set to sail. This is making sure that your vessel, not just the boat or the ship, that's you, that is ready. It is in good condition. It is or has been strengthened, and it is prepared for the sailing, right? And so when we talk about gathering the right team, I think about the ship, right? You have the captain of the ship. He's not on the boat by himself. He has a team, but it's a team that has been strategically selected and trained. They understand the vision and they're ready to execute the mission, not before the captain, not behind the captain, but they're in sync with the captain. They're all moving to the same beat. They're all syncopated, if you will, right? And so this also includes gathering the right equipment and thoroughly training them, right, for that journey, for that set to sail wherever they're going. This also includes having clarity of the vision, sharing the mission thoroughly, not missing something or missing, like, I'm going to tell you this part, but I'm not going to tell you that part, right? And so it helps you to become ready for the sail. Everyone is ready to move, right? He said, when we move, you move just like that, right? And then last but not least, this is like, once you have done all these things, right? There's nothing missing. There's nothing lacking. You made yourself ready. You've made your team ready. And you will know when it is time to start the engine. Push the button. You'll know when it is time to start the engine. You'll know when it is time to lift the anchor. And you'll know when it is time to put that boat, that ship in drive and set to sail. So Go evaluate where you are in terms of your assignment. Have you secured your yes in it? Have you made yourself ready, your team ready by training them, thoroughly training them, ensuring that they understand the vision and that you are already and syncopated to execute the vision. That's what it looks like when it's saying becoming shored up, being secured, and ready to set to sail. I hope this was I hope this message was a blessing to you, to make you ready to set to sail. Hey, listen, this is Dr. Mac. I'm dropping one nugget at a time. Stay tuned for more. Bye for now.